How's it? Welcome back. So I had an interesting question come in from one of the regulars on the channel, this guy Adrian, and it's essentially getting at the pleasurable feelings that can come along with entering into the hypnagogic state, specifically in the earlier portion of it, like once you start to first have the flashes of full-on imagery start to pop up. So not just a soft diffuse light or starry night sky type background, but a real flash of a full-on image. And so he writes, I have a question specifically related to the moment you start perceiving the mountain scenery back and forth. And so on the video that he left this comment on, I was talking about how one of the easiest types of actual full-on imagery for me to bring up within the hypnagogic state is of like mountain type nature scenery. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just always been like, it's been a way for me to kind of purposefully get to the image stage of hypnagogia. Is I'll just start setting these seeds in my head of trying to see mountain type scenery, and then out of the blackness that shit will start to flash up. And in the beginning it does tend to flash up and then disappear, you know, and then it can flash up again, but it doesn't, like the first time the full-on imagery pops up, it's not like a steady constant type scene. It will normally pop up, disappear, and then it just keep relaxing, sinking down deeper in the stage you want to sleep, and then it can go ahead and pop up again. Do you get or have some kind of pleasure feeling at those very brief moments? It's difficult to describe, and I think this part of the question is kind of getting at some of his own experience. Difficult to describe, but it is before any actual transition. So I'm thinking that's like transitioning into real like full-on hypnagogia where the scenery is now moving, it's steady, it's staying there longer, right? It is at the very beginning of those scenery appearances. Feels like physical, but could be either physical and mental. It's something pleasurable, as if a burden or sense of weight, either physical or mental, is being lifted or removed or vanishes at that same time these first glimpses of scenery show up. And I really think the way he described it is like, it's almost like a weight's being lifted off of you. I think that's a good way to describe it. So yes, I do find a pleasurable feeling most of the time when I'm getting into that state and starting to see the flashes of this mountain type scenery pop up. And I would venture a guess that it's probably always there to some degree. Sometimes it's more noticeable than others, but to me, like if I ever specifically pay attention for it, I can generally find it. Sometimes I'm not, though. I'm just paying more attention to the visuals and I might miss the pleasurable physical sensations that come along with it. And so when it comes to those pleasurable physical sensations, that's essentially what I'm getting at when I talk about my body buzz meditation. It just feels like I kind of have this like buzzing sensation going on, sometimes all over my body, although typically when I'm first getting into this state, it's not full body yet. It'll probably be like just in my extremities and things like that. But yeah, there certainly is a pleasurable feeling that goes along with it. And I've always just theorized, I don't know if this is fact, but I think it's because your external senses are starting to retreat, right? So like as your physical sensations are retreating, you're not going to be able to hear stuff as clearly anymore as everything goes more internal. And then once all your attention can kind of be focused internal, then that allows you to actually start to see some of these visuals that are popping up in your head, and you're kind of getting more into dreamland, right? Because when you are in a full-on dream, right, you're not feeling your body anymore. You're kind of deaf to what's happening in the outside world unless it's just really loud to go ahead and wake you up out of it. But that's because all your senses have retreated. Everything can be focused internally, and then all of a sudden, all your thoughts and stuff that you have going on in your head are now full-on visual, and it'll be like, you know, you're actually there, you know, like you are in real life. It seems like that because it seems like you're there in the first person. However, most of the time for this hypnagogic stuff, the kind of big difference between liminal dreaming and regular straight up REM style dreaming is liminal dreaming, it's more like you're watching it, right? You don't really have all the physical sensations of being invested into the dream, right? It's more they're just kind of numbing you from the outside, I guess. But anyway, great question. And until the next video, keep your hypnagogic meditation practice legit.